Your dog isn't looking at your face right now. Watch closely and you'll notice. It's your feet. That's not affection. That's forecasting. Dogs read the body before they read the face, because feet move first, a shift in weight, a foot turning toward the door, and your dog already knows what you're about to do, often before you do. So when someone tells you to make friends with your dog, they usually mean be nice, offer treats, use a soft voice. But that's not friendship to a dog. That's a transaction. Real trust starts somewhere else entirely, somewhere most owners never even look. Picture this. You crouch down to greet a dog for the first time. You reach out your hand, palm up, fingers slightly curled. The polite version everyone recommends. Here's what most people think is happening. The dog is deciding whether to like you. Here's what's actually happening. The dog is scanning your hand for tension, not scent, tension. A curled hand held still half a second longer than natural reads as hesitation, and hesitation reads as risk. What this reveals is that dogs aren't judging kindness. They're judging consistency. A hand that moves the same way every time, at the same pace, tells the dog, this human is predictable, and predictable means safe. And that's the part that matters emotionally. Because dogs don't fall for charm. They fall for patterns. Most people stop there. They think politeness alone builds trust. But that's not what's really happening. The real story starts one layer deeper, in the 2 seconds after the greeting, not during it. Here's something almost nobody notices. The moment that decides whether a dog trusts you isn't when you approach. It's when you leave. What the viewer sees, the dog sniffs your hand, then you stand up and move on. What most people think it means, the greeting is over. What's actually happening? The dog is tracking whether you respected the exit. Did you linger? Did you reach again? Did you turn your body fully away, removing the pressure? What this reveals about the dog is that safety isn't built in the approach. It's confirmed in the retreat. A human who backs off cleanly is a human who isn't hunting for control. Why it matters emotionally, dogs that have been overwhelmed before, pulled toward, grabbed, cornered, learn to brace the instant a hand appears. The retreat is the moment they finally exhale. There's one more signal most people get backwards entirely. Eye contact. What the viewer sees, a dog holding your gaze for a long moment, then slowly closing its eyes halfway. What most people think it means, the dog is sleepy or simply relaxed by accident. What's actually happening, that slow half blink is a deliberate broadcast. In a species that reads a hard, unblinking stare as a challenge, softening the eyes on purpose is the closest thing a dog has to saying, I'm choosing not to compete with you right now. What this reveals about the dog is that it's actively managing the tension in the room, not just reacting to it. It's offering you a de-escalation signal and, often, waiting to see if you offer one back. Why it matters emotionally? The humans who instinctively soften their own eyes in return rather than holding a fixed stare to bond are the ones dogs relax around fastest. The gaze isn't a test of affection. It's a negotiation over who has to stay alert. So far, this has looked like a lesson in dog etiquette. Hands, timing, distance, eyes. But here's where it gets bigger than that. Every one of these signals, the hand, the pace, the retreat, isn't really about the dog learning you. It's about the dog building a prediction model of you. Dogs don't store affection the way we do. They store probability. When this human moves like this, what happens next? That means trust isn't a feeling you earn. It's a pattern you complete over and over until the dog can finish the sentence before you do, and that changes everything about how befriending a dog actually works. The surprising part is, the dogs that seem the most standoffish aren't usually the least trusting. They're the ones running the most prediction checks, testing you again and again, because something, somewhere, broke the pattern before. What the viewer sees, a treat offered, a dog taking it. What most people think it means, the dog now associates you with reward. What's actually happening? The treat is secondary. What the dog is actually clocking is how the food was delivered, dropped at a distance versus held out, offered at the same time each day versus randomly, given after eye contact versus during it. What this reveals, dogs don't bond to the reward. They bond to the ritual around the reward. Why it matters emotionally. A dog that can predict when food arrives stops guarding it, stops rushing it, stops eyeing you while eating. The relaxation you're looking for isn't gratitude. It's the absence of uncertainty. Here's a moment almost everyone misreads. The play bow, front legs down, rear end up. What most people think it means, the dog wants to play. What's actually happening, layer by layer, the bow is a dog explicitly labeling its next move as not a threat. It's a dog saying, in a language older than domestication, everything after this is pretend. What this reveals about the dog, it understands that its own actions can be misread, and it's correcting for that, in advance, for your benefit. Why it matters emotionally. That's not instinct without thought. That's a dog managing your perception of it. Somewhere in that small, ridiculous bow is a level of social awareness most people never give dogs credit for. Most people stop at the dog wants to play. But that's not what's really happening. The real story is that the dog is negotiating. So if it's not about treats or tone of voice or how gently you talk, what actually builds the bond? Repetition of predictability, stretched across weeks, not moments. Every walk at a slightly different pace, every greeting with the same rhythm, every meal on schedule. These aren't small habits, they're data points. And somewhere between the 40th and the 100th repetition, something shifts. The dog stops running the prediction model altogether. It just knows. That's the moment people call bonding. But really, it's the moment a dog stops checking. You can actually watch this shift happen if you know where to look. Early on, a dog's eyes will flick toward you constantly, checking your hands, your posture, your direction of travel. Weeks later, with the same routine held steady, the checking simply stops. The dog naps 6 feet away with its back turned. It stretches out in a doorway instead of guarding it. None of that is submission. It's the visible evidence of a completed prediction. A dog that has run the math on you often enough to stop running it at all. This is also why sudden, well-meaning changes can quietly undo months of progress. A new tone of voice, a rushed greeting after a long day, an inconsistent feeding time during a busy week. To us, these are nothing. To a dog still building its model of you, each one is a data point that doesn't match, and the checking can start again from the beginning. None of this was ever really about hands, treats, or timing. It's about a dog learning that you are the same person, every single time, whether it's watching or not. That's not a trick you perform. That's a character trait a dog is quietly grading you on every day. If understanding your dog on a deeper level fascinates you, that's exactly what this channel is here to explore.